All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have your watch list for May 13th, 2019. Happy Mother's Day. That's why the sound quality sounds a little interesting over here. I left the Mother's Day dinner. I said, Mom, you have to understand that Colt needs to know what's going on right now because futures are down almost 1%. It's about 1% now. They dropped to 1.1. The trade wars are back into play again this week, so we need to talk about that. So you guys know what you need to do. Hit the thumbs up, but most importantly, post your watch list. This was very helpful last week because now it's the question of what to play. So we need to talk a little bit about the trade war, what to expect tomorrow, this week. I don't have a crazy Google Doc for you because tomorrow is going to be a very, very pivotal day, but we do need to know what to watch. So even right off the bat, you guys, watch the emerging market stocks, watch the chip makers specifically. We saw what they were doing last week and how they behaved, and really relative to any other industry, they did sell off a lot. So I had Micron up there. There's AMD and Qualcomm, but to all of them, I'm not really liking Qualcomm. As you see, Qualcomm actually bounced on Friday, and you could put that into perspective to, comparing it to AMD and Micron. So did AMD, but Micron is my favorite as far as the downside goes. So you kind of see how it's looking. They don't have earnings for a few months, believe it or not. So I like how they're going to be. I'm going to watch them. Next is going to be important is to watch the banks. Watch Bank of America, watch Wells Fargo, but we were seeing how they moved. And again, the whole market does kind of resemble this, so you can't freak out too much, but you kind of see the markets popping. I want to find the ones that didn't pop as much over the weekend, but again, related to this specific factors, because now at the same time, as we're getting a lot of trade war stuff, trade issues, the next big factor has been rates and Jerome Powell and all that, and we saw what happened with the bank. So I'm going to watch those right in the morning tomorrow, and then my value stocks. Coca-Cola, we grabbed the puts on those, so I want to see, but they're very low volatility. It shot up a lot. Even then, you could take a look at these candles. It's when Coca-Cola starts moving like this and getting actually big candles, it shouldn't move like this. So I like them. And then lastly, my favorite, McDonald's. You guys know how I feel about them. They're at 200. They bounce. So again, look at how the market's coming down, but they're up. They're having that inverse, and that's also going to bring Starbucks. So there are those plays right off the bat. I have options I want to go over and a whole another set of companies. There's now even the growth ones like Roku, Square, all that. But these companies I just showed are kind of setting the stage for what is going to be important tomorrow. We are going to watch biotechs and healthcare, but I think these are going to be the main industries. And obviously Apple and seeing that developed, and we brought Caterpillar. But tomorrow's going to be interesting. And if we see everything move in line, I'm just going to go back to the indexes. So that's what we thought. Now, again, if you guys were even playing, you guys know how I've been scaling in, playing the UVXY. I bought more puts over the weekend, all that. And I said, get your hand in the cookie jar, go small. So we really need to see. But again, if I could give you guys any tip of advice, it's get time and understand contracts really made some moves from the whole fiasco yesterday. So we need to watch how this plays out. And if you didn't watch the video that I posted yesterday, it is related now to the trade war and how things are going to develop. And there's one factor I'm looking for. If China retaliates, and I'm going to explain now why are the futures down and related to China's retaliation. The futures are simply responding to the trade deal breaking down, and we've got some stuff that happened on both sides. But what I'm looking for is China to devalue their currency. Now that is what the video's titled, that could make the stock market crash. I even, after explaining everything, I really reiterate, it could cause a minor correction. And this is what I'm saying coming into tomorrow. If there is no further events, the market, it might start adjusting to this negative trade news. We're seeing how it is. But if we don't see anything develop, if this does not turn into something that looks like the February 18 or something like this, at any point we've seen trade, talks really shock the market, it's going to chill for about 3 months. Where are we, like May right here? Yeah, it'll chill coming into August, September. And that's seasonally when you will see stuff happen with China. So again, if this whole timing of the retaliation and what China does, we have a short window here. That's why I'm saying keep our eyes on watch. But this next week, it could repeat a lot of what happened last week. And if it doesn't, it could be very, very wild in terms of volatility. So I'm going to keep my eyes out for that. And as you guys know, I'm getting straight to this stuff. We're live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's pinned in the comments, the description. So make sure you are there because we're going to be going over this. And as stuff develops, you saw we had a $40 to $40 to 400. It's setting up opportunities in plays because big movements are happening, but we have to recognize, is that window still open or is that window going to close? So now let's talk about the futures and what's going on here. They dropped, they're coming down, and it's because escalation of the trade talk. So if you missed everything, starting from Friday, Thursday, they had the talks. It said good, bad, market did whatever. Then Friday, we raised the tariffs. Then over the weekend, they said constructive talks, then more back and forth. We were even watching that throughout the day Friday. Yeah, it was dropping, then constructive talks, and then negative stuff. And then really it came out afterwards. Vice Premier Lee, he was saying there's not really a deal. And honestly, China even came out to the meeting and said it's not good. And now, even right now, Donald Trump is tweeting about China. He said China is dreaming that sleepy Joe Biden or any of the others gets elected. They love ripping off America. Constitutional crisis, where is it? That was a funny one. But there it goes. It's like 2 million. No. This one right here. He says, we're right where, same thing. A few hours on Sunday, he said, we're right where we want to be with China. They broke the deal with us, tried to negotiate. We will be taking tens of billions of dollars in China. He said something about he loves getting tariffs, but that's not good. But now, over the weekend, I think it was yesterday before he tweeted this, China listed 3 demands. They came out publicly, and this is weird for them to do that. And this, I even saw people tweet this, very, very important people in China who, media people. And it is true. This is a turning point of the trade war. That's why I'm expecting a devaluation. However, what's happening now, China said they want, number one, get rid of any tariffs now if you guys want to negotiate. If they said they're not going to negotiate with that, they said 2, they want purchases from the U.S. in line with real demand. So they want U.S. to buy stuff. And then 3, they said the wording so that that each country could hold their dignity. They even said they wouldn't even accept a deal on principle just because of how Trump is negotiating. And now the whole turning point, and that's why I said, and China even said that, don't underestimate it. They said they're going to try to make it rational. Honestly, how China did come off, they said they didn't cause any panic, but they did come to the meeting and said, hey, this is what we want. And if the U.S. can't do that, then there's nothing else. And now that's why I'm saying it's looking like the trade deal is really, really going to break down and get worse from here. But this is what I'm saying in that last video. The only other option would be to raise currency or weaken the currency, and that would be the negative effect we're going to look for. And you could even go look for companies now. That's why Micron and the chips, these companies in Asia and the technology and phones, there's a lot of competition there. But if we don't see currency raised in general, we're waiting for China to release retaliatory tariffs. Now, here's the thing. Those were expected to be released by now. So the futures are down because we were, and this is where I'm assuming now, and this is what I'm going to look for tomorrow, coming into tomorrow morning as well. We were expecting China to retaliate before the weekend was over, but they haven't already. So if they haven't came back with more tariffs, they might be plotting or planning something bigger of that nature that I said. But now it's turning it from a tit for tat, hey, I hit you, you hit me, this and that, to now a waiting game. It's going to be a game of trying to, I guess, what was that story in Greek mythology, where they strangled the city walls from the outside. It's who's going to be able to hold out now. So it's developing really good. We're watching the markets, but what I'm saying to keep an eye out for is both immediate events. However, if the market don't underestimate how fast the market could move on from this or get over this, because it's still just recent negative developments. The only issue is that we are, again, so high it could exasperate this and people could get worried. So we're going to see. But if I don't start to see real big volatility pick up, if this week does not drop big and we don't get that volatility, or we don't see anything equal opposite reaction to force China of some big deal, I'm not going to be too hesitant. I am going to say, I think the name of the game this week is going to be really sniping and controlling those capital expenditures and being patient, because if we don't see stuff develop here, it's a weird time. Again, sell in May and go away. You can't forget that. So coming into August, even seasonally, it's not that that's where the activity and everybody buys in, but that's just even historically a weaker season. So there's that. Now let's talk about some options. So right off the bat, this is going to surprise you, Tilray. I made 1,000% on this play, but I don't forget how they closed, you guys. So if you saw what happened at close, they went crazy. out of nowhere, and again, it outpaced it. But again, too, depending on what the market does, watch to see. But I'm going to be watching for the implied volatility. It's high, so watch to see if there's anything near the money or at the money, and then if it drops. However, with this type of move, if any of you guys know anything, watch for any buyouts, deals, anything like that, because if it can move in the day, come down and get depressed, but it's sending signals. Even if you look at the last 14 days, this is the biggest volume, so it is definitely begging the question. So I'm going to be looking at the options. Again, as you guys see, the further you go out, the IV drops. You saw those Mays were at almost double the IV. So you have to keep that in cautious. But you guys even saw what came about from last week with, certain options. Time is going to be a little bit more safer. The short terms are going to run all over the place. So you just have to find the balance. But I like that. Last but not least, well, this isn't the last one, but McDonald's. I love this, guys. I'm putting it up here again. Even the weeklies, even out to January. But again, I would even go 1 week out too. There's probably going to be a lot better deals. But anything near the money. So surprisingly, even for next week's, watch these 200s. And why do I say that? This looks just like last week when we played it. These were 50 cents. Now they're $200. It just hit the money. So if anything changes tomorrow and you start to see McDonald's go down, this could be a play. But if it doesn't lose premium like it did last week, you stock these for the rest of the week and you wait till these come down, and these are going to be a great play. So I'm going to be watching McDonald's very, very closely, and I like them. Next is going to be Microsoft. And I like them. Again, I said whether they go up or down, considering their post earnings, they're holding up. They're doing good. I think they'll either have a lot of downside, or if the market doesn't want to do good, they will be good. But I believe I got the Junes. I liked how the Junes were priced. I think the puts are very, very depressed, and even the calls, you could see they're still up from before the earnings, but you're still able to get them good. So depending on what happens next week, Microsoft option chain is setting up somewhat decent. Now, lastly, I'm going to put this one and say this one might be my favorite, just because I saw the potential of it last week. I hit, I think it was like $50 to $200 on it. Roku, both weekly next week, January. But again, too, you guys with the weeklies, realistically, just get more time. We have opportunities to push it out. But what I'm saying is Roku shot up a lot. It really, even from the top to bottom, it's making really big increments. It's at all-time highs. It's going to be good. It's going to be hard to expect. And if any, now again, don't forget the effect with earnings, especially a stock like Roku. There could be a lot of upgrades and downgrades. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. And that's pretty much it as far as those options. Keeping it very basic coming in tomorrow. Actually, I'll even say the UVXYs, those are going to be my volatility play if the market is coming down. You guys know I was buying IWM and SPY puts. Those are still in play. We're going to see how those value. But I have been liking the opportunity with the UVXY because these are ones, like I said, you don't have to be ahead of the game. You could wait till the crash is really happening. And these got such high inflations and deflated so much, we're going to really be able to take advantage. So you guys know I was getting crushed on those, averaging in and out of them. But if you also remember, I did grab a couple more. So we're going to see what happens. I'm really excited. It's going to be fun. But that's pretty much it, you guys. Keep your eyes out on the news, and I need you there tomorrow. Post your watch list, you guys. Shout out to everybody, even the new guys. I'm going to see here. I'm going to see where Moms is at, what's going on, if we're going to do the stream. If we do stream, we'll come out at 9 p.m. Pacific. If not, 30 minutes before open tomorrow, guys. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and I need you guys respectful and in the chat and be ready to rock, baby. Let's go!